Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that has locked in its finalists for this season of the challenge. That's right, season 41, Vets and New Threats, episode 17. You heard me right, we have the final 8 competitors, meaning the final 4 pairs have already punched their tickets for the final. But before we can talk about the finalists, let's go over what happened in this week's episode, starting with what happened last week, which was Michaela and Cedric winning against Aviv and Will in the elimination and coming back to the challenge house. Aviv and Will give players with notes. Some of these notes are really nice, like the one that Aviv left for both Theo and Jeremy, where on the other hand, some of these notes are bad, like the one Will left for Justin and in turn Nany. In Will's letter, he pretty much puts all the blame of him going home on both Justin and Nany. He wants to believe that Justin had nothing to do with it, but because he is partnered up with Nany, he felt like he had everything to do with it, and Will went as far to say that he felt used by Nany. Upon reading this letter, Nany and Justin are frustrated and annoyed that all the blame is being put on them, where they feel other teams are also culpable in the steps of how Will got put in the situation he was in. Why is nobody saying anything to Michaela and Cedric? This is a great segue as everybody goes to the bar. Yes, we went to the bar before going to the daily challenge. The edit this week was a little different, but it worked so well. As we get to the bar scene, Michaela starts off the conversation asking Sydney, why does the vibes in the house feel different after the vote? Sydney puts it out there that there are 2 rumors being floated around the house, with one of them being that Nany and Justin went rogue and were targeting their own alliance, or that Michaela is to blame for everything that went down because she was the one that requested Jeremy and Aviv. Michaela is like, whoa, hold on. Why am I to blame for this? As I was just saying what everybody was thinking, and people were gonna vote that way anyways. Michaela starts talking about her perspective of the events and conversations that happened. Everyone in the cast could overhear what Michaela was saying, and they decided to step in and state that what Michaela is saying is only a version of the truth, or that Michaela is trying to spin it to make herself look better. Nany is the major person to confront Michaela, and Theo jumps into the action as well. This argument right here is a lot of finger pointing, people playing the blame game, who's more at fault for Will being sent into the elimination and ultimately being eliminated. People are dogpiling on Michaela and Cedric, saying that Cedric knew that Jeremy was going to be staking a claim and that he should have told his best buddy Will to get your tennis shoes on. Then we have Sydney in the confessional being like, Michaela and Cedric read their Bibles every day, yet they are the most conniving in the house. And this is where the frustration comes within me upon hearing people being like so shocked about somebody lying or conniving on the challenge. It is moments and comments where it's like, oh my gosh, I was lied to in the game. Oh, somebody had a plan to try to get out a really good team in the game. If we have people feeling this way about just playing the basic rules of gaming, which is like lying and backstabbing at some points, then we end up with the Vacation Alliance where it's just friendship all the way around and the game gets boring. Look, I loved this argument. I loved this scene. It was so chaotic and it was so messy. And I loved everybody getting in on the action, right? But at the same time, some things are just not adding up. Like, yes, Michaela did say that it is time to target Jeremy and Aviv. Let's vote them into the elimination and try to get them eliminated before the final. But really, Michaela and Cedric had no power heading into that voting ceremony. They had already lost. They were going to be sitting in the kitchen with no vote. There are times in the challenge that people have asked and requested the house vote to be one way, but at the end of the day, the house could do whatever they wanted. And I found it very interesting that Nany at one point was like, I only was going to vote for Jeremy and Aviv because you requested them. But that contradicts some confessionals from last week where Theo was like, me and Nany made a plan right after the daily challenge, which was before her and Michaela having the conversation of voting for Jeremy and Aviv. And yes, Cedric could have said something to Will about Jeremy putting in a claim, as we do have a receipt of Aviv telling Michaela and Cedric about Jeremy's plan about an hour before the voting ceremony. So sure, Cedric could have said something. But really, did he have to? Did Michaela and Cedric connive and lie and scheme? Yes. Should they be called out for it? Sure, why not? But at the same time, let's not forget that this is a game, and that strategy has to get involved for people to put themselves in a good spot to win this game overall. And the last thing I want to say about this is that the one person that should be taking the majority of the blame for Will going home is Will himself. Will had count them, 2 times that he could have saved himself from going into the elimination and or ultimately leaving the game. He was able to play in the claim game against Jeremy, a game that if he would have won, he would have stayed partners with Olivia, and Jeremy and Aviv would have went directly into the elimination against Michaela and Cedric, and he would have been safe. But he lost that. Then all the chaos that happened at the voting ceremony, really Will could have saved himself there if he and Aviv could have figured out a way to vote with Justin and Nany to not end up as the target. He went into the elimination in the arena with Aviv and lost against Michaela and Cedric. This is why I love the challenge, because even if you get voted in, no matter how you get voted in, coin flip, burn vote, unanimous vote, doesn't matter. If you get voted in, you have an opportunity to save yourself. And Will took too many L's on his way out the door. Now, even in saying all that, I love this argument. I love these scenes. I love the back and forth. And during this outing, we get one of my favorite moments of the season. And that is, we turn to Turbo, who is playing a video game by himself, and to me, I laughed so hard every time we went back to Turbo and he was just minding his own business at the arcade. It was amazing. After that, the next thing we know is everybody is donning their challenge gear, heading down to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge, the last daily challenge of season 41, called Global Exchange. All the teams will be tethered together and having to ride a bike between 2 giant maps that are a kilometer apart. The teams will have to correctly label as many countries as possible. Whichever team does will win safety and punch their ticket to the final. The team to get the least amount of countries labeled correctly will be going directly to the elimination. Personally, I really like this challenge. I like that it was both mental and physical. You had to have endurance and brain power. It was almost 50-50, and you had to have teamwork because you're tethered together. It was also in this challenge that we get some like geographical blunders that we normally get in like the trivia challenge, but instead we get it in this challenge where we have Nany saying that New Zealand is just above France. We also have Adrian asking if Bulgaria is near Canada. Some of those moments were really fun. TJ was laughing hysterically, looking at all the wrong answers on everybody's maps. Speaking of Nany, in the confessional before starting the challenge, she seemed really confident in her abilities. She has done so many challenge seasons, she's also traveled outside of the show, that she felt labeling countries should be her thing, and that she was feeling confident with herself. But quickly, that confidence evaporated when she got to the first map and didn't know where any of those countries really go. The top 2 teams were Sydney and Turbo, Jeremy and Olivia. Really, Sydney and Jeremy were carrying their teams. They both have traveled a lot in life, and realistically, they just had general knowledge of countries. Speaking of Jeremy and Olivia, this is their first and only test before the final, and they were working really well with one another. You have Jeremy saying compliments to Olivia in the confessionals before the daily challenge, and then during the challenge he's like, I'll go your speed, so you go and I'll just match it. They looked really good in this daily challenge. And when we get down to the final results, the top 2 teams were separated by only 2 correct answers. It was Turbo and Sydney who got the win, getting 20 countries correctly labeled, and Jeremy and Olivia got second place with 18. Third place was Theo and Adrian getting 11 points, and the bottom 2 of Justin and Nany, Michaela and Cedric, were separated by only 1 point, and it was Michaela and Cedric who got last place for the second daily challenge in a row, as they got 8 points to Justin and Nany's 9. Now coming back to the challenge house, there's not a whole lot of strategy or a lot of conversations that need to happen. Because with Turbo and Sydney getting first place, Michaela and Cedric getting last place, you only have 3 teams that are voting, and 2 of them have a couple on them, leaving Justin and Nany as a sitting duck. Heading into the voting ceremony, I expected it to be 2 votes to 1, but really when we get to the voting ceremony, it is a unanimous vote of 3 votes for Justin and Nany. Yes, Justin and Nany voted for themselves. So the stage is set for the final elimination of the season. You have Michaela and Cedric versus Justin and Nany in a headbanger called Balls In 2.0. Really, there's no difference in this Balls In except for that the men and women will be competing simultaneously, and instead of trying to dunk in a kickball, it looks like they're using a medicine ball. It's the team that can win 2 out of 3 rounds first. Coming into Balls In, I was like, I feel like Michaela and Cedric have this one, But I also was not going to underestimate either Nany or Justin. We have seen Nany in physical eliminations and be able to come out on top. Justin has proved that he is nobody to underestimate, having won against Rogan in the first elimination of the season, as well as winning against Gabe in the claim game. However, in the first round, both Michaela and Cedric were able to bulldoze their way past Nany and Justin in near identical ways, and they were able to both dunk in their medicine balls, getting 2 points easily. Everybody swaps sides, TJ blows the horn, and Justin is able to put on a nice spin move and dunk in his ball to make it 2-1. It's all on Nany to try to tie things up. However, Nany gets grappled by Michaela, drops the ball. Michaela tosses it out of bounds, locking in the win for Michaela and Cedric in round 1. They only need one more round to win, and we get to round 2. Justin puts up a good fight with Cedric. At one point, Justin halts Cedric's momentum, but he was able to topple into the inner circle, getting the point. Nany went low on Michaela, but not low enough. Michaela easily got the point. So when swapping sides, Michaela and Cedric have a perfect 2 points, where to stay in the game, Nany and Justin have to play flawlessly and get 2 points of their own. TJ blows that horn and Cedric tackles Justin out of bounds. Michaela gets to Nany, she instantly fumbles, and Michaela tosses the ball out of bounds. Nany and Justin get 0 points, meaning Michaela and Cedric dominate in this Balls In 2.0, winning 2 rounds to nothing. And Justin and Nany are eliminated. This is Nany's second season in a row that she was eliminated in the final elimination right before the final. Nany went out with a smile, joking around with Justin. Nany had some good sportsmanship, even though she got heated at one point against Michaela and Cedric. It's got to be heartbreaking, but she should be very proud of how she played this season. But to come so close and miss out on the final has got to be tough. Once Michaela and Cedric join back up with the other 3 pairs, that's when TJ turns to the players and says, "Congratulations, you have made my final." And everybody goes back to the challenge house, does a cheers, makes some nice speeches, congratulates each other, but everybody knows that the hardest part of the game, both mentally and physically, is coming up. And everybody has to be on their A game to try and get that challenge win, both the title and the money. Honestly, this was a really great episode. I thought it had everything that you would possibly want, which was a good challenge, good elimination, and then TJ stating at the end of the episode that we have locked in the final, and next week we'll be starting out with the 8 teams having to run TJ's final in a very cold mountainous terrain. Looking at the preview at the end of the episode, this final looks like it's going to be tough. It's going to be cold. Everybody's going to be pushed to their limits. And I just cannot wait how it's all going to play out. I cannot wait. I love this episode. The last 2 episodes have been really, really good. And now we're on the precipice of the final. We're just like so close to seeing how the final is going to go. I am so excited to see how that's all going to play out. I think looking on paper, this is one of the best matchups. Every pair, every person, I feel, has the opportunity, has the chance, has the talent, has the skill to get them to the promised land, to cross over that finish line where TJ is like, you are the challenge champs. I could see any one of these teams doing it. Now, in the preview, there are some adversity coming to some of the teams. I don't want to say anything just in case people skip the preview because they didn't want to be like even just spoiled by the challenge itself. But I also think that some of those scenes could be red herrings and try to make it look more intense than it actually is. But we'll have to wait and see how it all going to play out. I cannot wait for next week as well as the week after to see how the final is all going to go. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to get second, third, and fourth? I know that this season has felt like it's been going on for forever, and it has been. But at the same time, it just feels like last week, everybody was picking their quote unquote permanent partners. And to think that that was like 2 months ago is wild. This season has been so much fun so far. And I think that the final is going to be a great exclamation point on this season. And I can't wait to see how it's all going to play out. But now I want to turn it over to you. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about the Daily Challenge Global Exchange? What'd you think about Balls In 2.0? What'd you think about the argument happening in the bar? And are you upset to see Nany and Justin be eliminated this late in the game? Let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think about our 4 finalists? Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? I want to hear anything and everything you have to say down in the comment section below. And now I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 41 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.